All right. Introduction to front-end development. What is front-end development? Well, before I jump into front-end development, let me make a brief introduction about web development. What is web development? Why do people choose web development? What is the reasons behind web development? And yeah, it's just from the name, website and the development. It's an approach to develop a website. That's just it. You have a website, and then you want to develop it, right? So web development. So literally, I would say web development refers to the process of creating, building, and maintaining website. Yeah, it's just you create, you build, and then you maintain. Everything has to do with web development. And we don't just have websites, we have web applications also. All right. So web development refers to the process of creating, building, and maintaining a website and web applications that are accessible over the internet. Like I said, web, you don't, it's just internet. You don't access websites from anywhere apart from the internet. So it's just the internet. It involves a combination of various technology, like it involves programming, it involves designs, it involves deployment and all of this. Those are the involvement of a website. It involves server side, client side. You will not get to understand these ones right now, but we'll explain the idea of server side and the client side moving forward. You understand? So web development encompasses of two major parts, which is the front end and then the back end. So now it is the front end that we are going to be talking about. We are going to be introducing ourselves to getting ourselves towards in this course, this beginner front end development. All right. So what is front end development? Front-end development is the process of developing the user interface and user experience of a website or a web application. So like from the explanation, a user interface is the interface of a particular website. You already know that, okay, we have UX designers who their job is to draw, sketch, and just boxes and write stuff on the board, just static designs on the board. Those are the user interfaces, how it's going to look like, the experiences, how is it going to be accessible for, well, it is left for the UI UX designers to determine those ones. But our job as a front-end developer is to develop these interfaces, right, into a website or a web application. The job is to, for example, a designer come up with a design, it just like have a box, just like a box on a design. That box is not functional. So as a front-end developer, you have to write a code that will make the box functional. If, for example, the box is a moving box, all right. So as a front-end developer, it is your responsibility to develop that particular box to move on your website. When a user can somewhere very far can access the website and then see the box moving on their screen. So that's just the front-end development is the process of developing the user interface and user experience of a website or a web application. And we have tools, we have languages used in front-end development. We have the HTML, we have the CSS, we have the JavaScript, we have the React, Angular, and Vue.js. HTML is the basics, like the first thing. Well, I'm not sure you can go on knowing CSS, JavaScript, and all of this without having the basic knowledge of HTML. Yeah, basic, and I mean basic, like the least knowledge of HTML. Although in some cases you have to know HTML very well to be able to use your JavaScript, your other ones very well to be able to develop or build a website. You have to know your HTML very well. You have to know your syntax, and you have to know your tags, the element, and all. So HTML is hypertext markup language. It is hypertext markup language. It is basically a skeletal structure of a website. Basically, a skeletal structure of a website where you arrange things together, more like you join wood. For example, you're building a house, the process of joining the blocks, just okay, the foundation, arranging blocks, and lifting everything together, just making it look like this skeletal structure of a building. That's what HTML is about. Why the CSS is, I would say, the rendering, the plastering and the rendering of a building, beautifying the house, giving it color, the design, the shapes, and all of those. So that is basically what CSS is about. Why JavaScript is the function of the building. How do you want the building to operate? The opening of window, the doors, the sound, the insulator, the sound insulator, anything that has to do with functions in a building, anything that has to do with functions in a building. That's what JavaScript is about. While React, Angular, and Vue.js are more of frameworks. They are frameworks that makes JavaScript very easy for us to write. When you're writing JavaScript, it may be a little bit difficult because you integrate your HTML into JavaScript to be able to create a website. And there are stuffs that are like shortcomings that will stop you, or say there are some ways in which you want your website to look like, but with JavaScript, CSS, and all of those alone, you won't be able to achieve what you want to achieve properly. Yes, you're going to get it, but it's going to be more difficult and more task and take a longer time. For example, in React, okay, I shouldn't be going to, but React, Angular, and Vue.js are frameworks that makes writing JavaScript very easy, or front-end development very easy. So what are the first set of front-end development? Like I said, we have the HTML, we have the CSS, we have the JavaScript, we have the responsive design. That's one thing you need to take very, very important when it comes to front-end development. The design has to be responsive. The code has to be very responsive. If you're building for a desktop, and then when that particular website is being viewed or opened on the mobile, it should be very responsive. It should look very nice, both on desktop, mobile, and also on tablet or any other screen size that this website may be open upon. So you are to make your website or your design very responsive so that it doesn't look somehow when it is being opened on mobile. Some persons, they actually like to build their website mobile first, while some is desktop first. The person will build first on mobile and then expand or maybe extend it or make it responsive on desktop, while some will build on desktop first and then later make it responsive on mobile and tablet. So that's responsive design. And then the front-end frameworks and library, like I said earlier, the React, React, Angular, and Vue.js. And then we have version control, which is, we have different version control, but the most popular one that we use is the Git version control in front-end development. The Git version control, it is used to collaborate, you control what happens when you want to like collaborate with different developers. For example, you're working here in Nigeria and you have questions, you have job, or you have a project you're working on in UK, right? And then you can't see the person that you're working with. So with Git version control, with Git version control or GitHub and all of this, it is easy for you to push, pull, and then work together, collaborate with this person you're working with outside of your country easily. Then we have the browser developer tools. This is mostly used to debug. When you get to JavaScript, you get to use this very well. Not just JavaScript, even CSS and HTML. For responsiveness, you use browser developer tools to debug your code. What is wrong with my code? Am I doing it wrong? What is happening on all of that? We have the web performance optimization. We have the cross-browser compatibility. We have accessibility, and then we have testing and debugging. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to dive into HTML, but before I do that, I want to ask if we are following me. Do we have any question? Is there anything that is confusing that we're not like that we didn't get properly and like to ask a question or okay. I'm sorry, I see someone raising his hand now. Let me check. Muche. Muche. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Please kindly unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, sir. My question is, what is the difference between web design and web development?
Okay, thank you very much. Web design is basically the design, like the interface of the website. Well, it is not a front-end developer's responsibility to design your website. You develop the website. The product design, the UI UX designers are the ones responsible for the website design. Mostly, when it's a contract is being given to a developer or a designer, okay, hey, I need to have a website, right? So the first thing you say is, do you have a design? For example, do you have a design for it? Right. So then if you don't, then it is a designer, a product designer, a UI UX designer responsibility to come up with the idea. The clients only have to tell the designer, okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to look like. I want an e-commerce website that does this, that does that, and all of those. So then a UI UX designer comes in, then I don't know the tools they use, Figma and all of those, to come up with a website design, the design of the website, how it's going to look like, right? So while a front-end developer's responsibility is to develop that design, develop it into a website, make design is not functional, right? You cannot, yeah, it's not functional. When you want to make it functional, you want to bring it to life, that's when it's been developed by a front-end developer. So that's the difference between a design and a development. Design is just a design scope of the website, sketches and all of those, while development brings that design to life. I don't know if that answers the question. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Muchi. I see your signature. All right. So let's talk about HTML. Hypertext markup language. This is just the structure of a simple HTML. As you can see on my screen, the structure of a simple HTML code. The structure of a simple HTML code. And I forgot to say it earlier, we have different editors that we can use in writing our codes. We have the VS Code, we have the Sublime, we have Atom, and all of those. And some persons use Android Studio to write codes too. Even if I don't like it. So I don't like it. But then the one we mostly use as a front-end developer is the VS Code. We use Notepad too. You can use Notepad to write code also, but that's what developers use before the idea of VS Code. VS Code makes everything very easy with the idea with the help of extension and all. So this is the structure, the basic structure of an HTML code. We have the document type. This is the declaration of the document type. What type of document are you writing? What type of document are you trying to code? So then it's HTML, like I said, hypertext markup language. Then we have head, where everything you're doing, the description of your page, the title, the content, the thumbnail images, the OG is located in the head of your HTML page. You have the link, your CSS, your JavaScript, or any other frameworks that you're using. You have all the links in your head, while the body is the content of your website. As you can see from the head, we have the title, my first web page. That's telling, okay, this is my first web page. This title is going to be displayed on the top, at the top of your website, just close to the, if you're using a web browser, it's going to be located at the top of your website, something like this. Can just a minute. Something like this, KodeCamp 3.0 training slide. So it's going to be located at this top. So my first web page is going to be here somewhere in this Quran tab, and while the hello word is going to be the body, everything inside your website, the body, what people will see more, that's going to be inside the body, right? So this is the basic structure of an HTML. We have other tags, we have other things, but we are going to get to that as we are moving forward. So we have HTML syntax. Sorry. Okay, HTML, we have HTML syntax, we have HTML tags. All this helps us in achieving our HTML goal, our codes, how we write our codes, and also HTML is the markup based syntax, which means it uses tags to define the structure and content of a web page. The basic syntax consists of opening and closing tags, and the content is placed between these tags. Just like you have an example here, we have an element, we have the content, and then we have a closing tag element. From what they said, this is the tag to define structure and content of a web page. The basic syntax consists of opening and closing tags, and then the content is placed between these tags. That means this is a tag, this is a tag, an opening tag. This is the content which is placed in between the tag, and then this is the closing tag. All right. So this is a syntax, complete syntax like this. So the element is the name of the HTML element, like H1, P, image, etc. While the content is the actual content that appears on the web page. The element, the tag doesn't really appear, does not appear on the web page at all. The opening and the closing tag doesn't appear, just the content you have in between the tags, that's what appears on the web page. And this content could be anything, can be text, images, video, or other elements. Some other elements can be sorry, my system is malfunctioning. Some elements can have attributes that provide additional information about the element attribute and define inside the opening tag and provide further customization of the element, for example. So from what they said, as you can see here, I have elements, I have the attributes, and then a value, then the content, and a closing element. This is the opening tag. So inside the opening tag, we have an additional attribute, which specifies a value, and then a content inside this tag, and then a closing tag. So this is what they explain. Some elements can have attributes that provide additional information about the element attribute are defined inside the opening tag. Attributes are defined inside the opening tag and provide further customization for the element. So by the time we are moving forward, when we start writing the real code, we are going to get to understand most of these things one after the other. So we have HTML tags also. HTML tags are used to define the element on a web page. Tags consist of elements, name enclosed in angle brackets. There are two types of tag, the opening and the closing tag. We've explained that earlier. This mark the beginning of an element and are written with the element name enclosed in angle bracket, for example, the H1, the P, the image, and the anchor tag. Well, I shouldn't be diving into too much of theory. All right, so let me guide us through on how to write our first code. And before we do that, we need to have a text editor on our system. I believe we all have the text editor already. I've been posting that on the group chat earlier. we should have VS Code installed. But then if you don't have it installed, let's just go through how to install VS Code on our system. So it's easy. You can just type VS Code in your browser. All right, so this is a VS Code. Let me just open the download. Well, I'm on Mac. So if we are using Windows, we can easily click on this and then download and install our VS Code. If you are using Ubuntu, like Linux, you can download this Debian, Ubuntu, or Red Hat, or any of this. And then if you're on Mac, just click on this, and then you download it. The installation is very simple. You only have to wait for it to download, click on the install, and then it installs automatically. Just click on yes for it to install. So I'm going to open a VS Code I already have installed here. Okay, go ahead. Can we all see my screen? Please, you can see my screen. Can you just signify by raising your hand? Okay, thank you. Go on the line. Okay, so VS Code. This is text editor that we're going to be using throughout this course. You may find it very comfortable to use other text editor, but for easy transitioning and easy follow-up, I would advise that you go on or try and download and install the VS Code. Try and download and install VS Code, and so that you can follow up with the training accordingly. So this is VS Code. This is how it looks like. We have the start, we have the new file, the open, we have our clone git repository, and then we have recent files that you've been working on. So what we need to do is just open. When you create a new file, it's just you're creating a single HTML file. Could be any file, but how VS Code works is it works from a folder. Okay, so it is best to open a folder, open VS Code from a folder. All right, open VS Code from a folder, so that then everything you're working, everything you're doing on that VS Code is going to be located inside the folder. It could be your image source, it could be your CSS file and everything. So everything is going to be located inside the folder. And when you're pushing or when you're doing any other git commands and all, it's going to be on inside that particular folder. So as you can see on my screen, we have open here. So I'm just going to click on open. And then I'm going to create a new folder on the desktop. Creating a new folder on the desktop. .0 plus class. All right. There are other ways in which you can create or open a VS Code using a folder. There are other ways. You can use the terminal. You can use a CMD command prompts. Well, I don't want us to go into that here, but you can, if you are comfortable with using command prompt, you can always use command prompt to navigate into your desktop and then create a new folder. Then from there, you can open your VS Code. But then if you can't, if you are using Windows, go to your desktop, right click on the desktop, and then create a new folder. Create a new folder on the desktop. You can give it any name. Give it our first class, give it class 1 or KodeCamp class 1, or anything you choose to give. All right, and then you open the folder with VS Code. You can either open the folder with VS Code, or you come to VS Code, open VS Code, and then click on this open. This open you have here, and then navigate to that particular folder that you open, and then you're going to have the same thing I have right here. So then, like I said, we are going to be starting with HTML. We're going to be talking about HTML, writing codes with HTML for now, right? So, because it's going to be stages, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we're going to be starting with HTML. Let me explain how VS Codes work. Here we have the Explorer. The Explorer is what opens what you've been working on, the folder you have been working on. It opens all of the files you have in your projects, your project details. That's what the Explorer does. Why the search is to search for something on the VS Code. All right, search for anything you have on the VS Code and it's going to bring it out. The source control, like I explained earlier, is used to for Git and external source control and all of those. So then this is the running and debugging for mostly JavaScript and other functions, other big heavy functions. While here we have the extension. So with VS Code, extension helps in making most of our code easier, readable, like prettier, like code extension, like Lifesaver, where you have to, when you write a code, then with the help of Lifesaver, you can easily open that particular code and then you're going to see the result on the web page. So that is what the extension is used for. While this is normally like an account, so you can also have an account on VS Code. You can sign in, create an account and all. And then the last one, which is the manage, is for settings. You can choose how you want your VS Code to look like. You can choose a light mode. You can choose a dark mode. See, you can choose the keyboard shortcut. You can configure your user snippet, the color, the file icon, and all of those. But all these are not something that we should actually be concerned about right now. Let's just focus on how to create our first HTML page, how to create our first HTML file, and how to build our first website. So in doing that, here we have KodeCamp 3.0. The first, like I said, from the folder I opened. And then here, the first one, the first icon here is to create a new file. The second one is to create a new folder. The third one is to refresh the Explorer. And then the last one here is to collapse this particular Explorer. So if you don't want to have the Explorer anymore, you can click on this one. So now let's create our first HTML file. Every HTML file must have a .html at the end. Every HTML must have a dot. That's just to signify, to indicate that, okay, this file is HTML file. If you're working with CSS, you're working on CSS, it should have a .css at the end. If it is JavaScript, JavaScript will have .js at the end and the like. So HTML should have .html at the end. And then best practices says it is the best that you have your first name, your first file. When you have a project, you have a website that you want to develop, and then you have to use JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. The first file you have to create is index.html. That's the first file you have to create. Okay, so I just saw a pop-up now. Someone is trying to record. Sorry, I'll have to deny that. Okay, so I'm going to be creating my first index.html page. So this is index.html. That's the first file that you have to create when you are about to start a website or anything. Say you have to use your HTML, you have to use your CSS and JavaScript if you are not using any framework. All right. So index.html, like I said earlier, HTML must have a .html at the end. That signifies and tells us that I'm working on an HTML file. All right. So, and from what we see earlier, we have doc type HTML. This is the basic structure of an HTML page, where we have the doc type HTML, the declaration. Okay, this is the type of HTML I'm working on. HTML, this is the type of document I'm working on. like I said, declaration of the document type you're working on, HTML. Then the language of the HTML, this could be France, this could be FR, which is French, this could be SP, which is Spanish and all, but currently the language we are using is English, all right? So then we have, inside the edge, we have different declarations just to tell us what type of document, the type of document, how we want our document to look like. So we have the first meta, chasset, UTF-8, this is the language for chasset. We have the HTML equivalent of compatible and iEdge. This to specify, okay, the type of web browser is going to be compatible with. The viewport, content width size, initial scale 1.0. This is just how do you want it to look like when it's been open on the website? The viewport, the window width, the device size, and all of those. That's just the third one. While the title is the document name that you're working on. Document name, if, for example, you're being given to work on a website for a school, let's say Blessings High School. So mostly the title of this document is going to be Blessing High School. So that is going to be what is going to be showing to people, like showing on the browser when they open the website. And you can achieve this easily by using the shifts and shift and pipe. I don't know, the declaration, the declaration symbol. Yeah, the apostrophe. So let me do that again. Just shift and pipe. This is going to help you to achieve, to come up. It's more like an already, it's an inbuilt function for VS Code. It helps you generate the structure of the HTML. Okay, so just shift, you can just hold your shift and then press 1. That will bring up this sign. Just make sure you're having one of these, all right? Then you can just select the first one and then you have the structure, like the basic structure of your HTML page. And from here, you can decide on what to do inside the body. Like I said, the content of our website is located in the body. The content of our website is located in the body. Content, I repeat, is located in body, where we have our header, we have our paragraph, we have our div, and every other thing. So everything is located in the body. So right before we move forward, I would like us to install an extension that will help us in previewing our changes. Whatever we are doing here is going to assist us in, okay. All right, someone has just raised his hand. Armstrong, please, can you ask a question, quick one? Armstrong Julius. Okay, Ridwanullah, please go on. Armstrong is not available. Are you confused or something? Just let me know. If you are not following, please kindly indicate, let me know, so that I can always repeat myself or go back. Anyway, you're confused, just let me know. I'll try and explain again. Favor Oshigale. Please, if you're not available to ask a question, we don't have to leave our hands raised. So let's just you can just lower your hand, please, if you know you're not available. Favor Armstrong, kindly lower your hand. Thank you very much. Okay, then I would like to ask, are we getting into this point, the point of, okay, from the beginning, you have to install VS Code on your system. If you're using a MacBook, just visit VS Code, and then you can, to make it easier, type VS Code on your Google search. It's going to bring the VS Code, and click on download. Look for the one that has Mac, mostly Mac is .dmg. And if you're using Windows, look for the one that has .exe. It's going to be written boldly there for Windows. And then download and install it on your system. The installation process is very easy. Just click on the installation file, then you allow it to install by itself. You only have to say accept few pop-ups, accept few pop-ups. It's not going to affect your system anyway. Okay, so then after the installation, open the VS Code. Then when you open it, you have to open a folder to begin with. you have to start your project inside a folder. You don't just start the project alone on an empty maybe empty space or something. You have to open a folder and then start your project inside that folder. That's why I said earlier that if you're on window and you cannot navigate from your VS Code to open a folder, you can just easily go to your desktop, right click on the desktop, create a new folder and open that folder with VS Code. Or after creating the folder on your desktop, open VS Code, go to File, Open, and then click on that folder to open it. And then you're going to have something like this. So that is the first step in opening your VS Code and then beginning with your project, starting from a folder. And after that, we explain the function, some of the tools used in VS Code, the Explorer, the search, the source control, the run and debug, and then the extension. So then after that, we explain how to create our first HTML file. Why the expected of this HTML file is that you have index.html. If you did not include .html, it's going to be another language because you have millions of language, all right? And then the tags specify or signifies what particular file or type of language you're currently writing. So let's say, for example, I made a mistake by skipping the L, index.html. Let's say I skipped the T, HTML. So now this is not going to give me what I'm supposed to have because it is expected that I have HTML at the end of this index, for example. So, and then we can also have, let me say index.css. So as you can see, the logo here, the icon for CSS is showing that, okay, this particular file is going to be for CSS file. While this one, the second one, is going to be for HTML file. You have to take note of that. When you are creating an HTML file, you have to include .html at the end. So, but we are not working on index.css right now. Okay, then after creating your HTML file, we want to create the structure of our website. It's just like a syntax that helps you in creating the structure of your web page, the index page. You can either write this, well, you can write it on your own. People know it, you can just delete it and then write the doc type, HTML, head, and all of those on your own. But then VS Code has made it very easier for us. Instead of cramming all of this and writing it yourself, you can just you can type shift, hold your shift, and then tap 1. This will come up with the Emmet abbreviation, which helps you generate the structure of the page that you want to work with, the HTML page that you want to work with. So then you can just click on the first one, and then you have the structure. So that's the first thing we have to do, is just to get the structure of our page ready. Okay. So inside the body, like I said, I explained the doc type HTML, the HTML language, the header, the meta, the title, then the body. Inside the body, we have everything we need to do inside the body, our header, our paragraph, our content, the images and all is going to be located inside the body. Okay. So, but before we go on by writing our code, I want us to install an extension that will assist us or enable us to easily navigate to a web to open whatever we are working on, to see it. For example, if you have something written on the web inside your body as a content, you cannot see it just here. You have to like open it in a web to be able to see what you're working. Okay, so then I already have the live server installed. The name of the extension is live server. So just click on the extension that should be located at the left-hand side of the VS Code. Click on the extension, and then where you have the search extension, search for live server. So here you can see live server. Live server, just click on the live server, something like this, version 5.7.9. I already have it installed on my VS Code, so I don't need to install it anymore. But then if you don't have it installed yet, click on install. Yeah, you're going to see install. Instead of the uninstall, you're going to see install. Just click on it and wait for it to install. Wait for it to install. Then after the installation, we can now go on with launching our website on a web page on a browser so that we can see everything we are going to be doing on our web. So I'm going to wait a little for us to do that. Okay, I'm going to wait a little for us to like install the extension. Let's say you don't have it installed yet. Like I said, search for Lifesaver, open the extension, search for Lifesaver, click on the Lifesaver, and then click on install. It shouldn't take you more than, say, 2 minutes to get all of those done. If you have any question, please, you can either drop it on the group, on the chat, or you raise your hand, signify, and then ask your question. Don't get confused. I'm trying to take it slowly so we can understand what I'm explaining. So if you're confused at any point, feel free to raise your hand, drag me back, tell me, okay, you didn't get this part, I can explain again every time. Okay. All right. Now we have the Lifesaver installed. After that, if you right click on your VS Code, say in your index.html, if you right click on it, you're going to see open with Lifesaver. You're going to see open with Lifesaver. I believe you can all see that. We're going to see open with Lifesaver. Okay, Patrick Dowdu. Patrick Dowdu, please, can you unmute yourself and ask a question? Patrick Dowdu. Patrick Dowdu. Okay. David Dozie, do you have something to say? Do you have concern?
Okay, hi, morning. Okay, I'm not able to, I'm not able to get to the extensions talk of getting to the Lifesaver.
Okay, so where do you want to start from? Can you mute yourself, please? Where do you want to start from? Dozie, please kindly mute yourself. Okay. At Patrick.
Yeah, I said I couldn't get to the extensions.
Okay. Are you currently on your VS Code?
Correct.
Are you currently on your VS Code, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay, then can you see the extension icon by the left-hand side of your VS Code?
Which is the extension icon?
Okay, well, you see something like 5, you see 5 different icons. You see the first one, the Explorer, more like a file. Then you see search icon.
Oh, I see.
Search icon. Yeah, then the last one is the extension.
Yeah.
It displays like a grid. Yeah, just click on it, open it, and then search for Lifesaver.
Okay. I wasn't paying attention at that point. Okay, thank you.
Okay, are we cool?
Yes, good.
All right, then David Dozie, please, can you unmute yourself?
Okay, actually, I was about asking the same question, but right now I get it.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to still wait for like a minute for us to get the Lifesaver installed. Please, if you're confused, like I said, feel free to raise your hand or drop question. Mentor Akimbola will always be there to reach out to us to attend to our questions. So, and then you can also raise your hand. I will always wait for you to attend to you. All right. So I will just wait for a minute for us to get the Lifesaver installed. Okay, so let's assume we have the Lifesaver installed already. Now come back to your index.html and then right click. just right click. If you are using Window or Mac or anything, just right click on the page, any place on the page, and then you get to see different options. But we are not interested in all of this. We are only interested in the open with Lifesaver. Open with Lifesaver. So just click on it, and then you wait for your web page to open. Okay, this is what I have currently. Well, this is blank because my VS Code is also very blank right now. There's nothing written on it, so it is blank. So, well, that means we at least we have Lifesaver running, and then we have our web page running here. So whatever it is we are doing, whatever changes we are making inside the body is going to reflect on the. So, for example, let me try just something. Let me try to write. Able to open your web page, please kindly raise your hand. Let me be sure we're all together. Raise your hand, please. Let me be sure you're together. You have to be on the same.
Yeah, I think he has the network issues. He will join back shortly. So Elijah, please ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello,
Yes,
good
I can
morning.
hear you.
Okay, please, I am concerning the VS Code. I noticed that on his screen at the index.html, there is an icon that is showing before the write-up there. And on my own VS Code, it's showing the kind of a tag, opening tag, but it's not showing the icon. I want to know if I'm on the right path, please.
Yeah, the thing is sometimes the
Yes, sir.
icons can be different. So far you have it as the extension as index.html or homepage.html. Any
Okay.
one of them. So far you have the extension attached to it. You're
So
on the right track.
I have to download an extension so that I'll be having
No.
those.
You're not downloading an extension. Like, when you have index.html, it's going to tell the browser that this is an HTML page. It doesn't matter the icon that
Okay,
is
sir.
behind it. It's the .html that matters.
Okay, sir.
Are we clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Sammy, you can speak.
Okay, sir. Sir, please, after opening with Lifesaver, I'm just my web page is just blank. Now it's supposed to be.
Yeah, your web page is going to be blank because you don't have anything on in your VS Code yet. You don't have anything in your body element of your VS Code. So that is why it's blank. I think when it comes back, it's going to add something to the web page, to the code, and it's going to be displayed on the browser. So let's hold on for him to come back. Are we clear, Sammy? Sammy, are you there? Are we clear?
Yes, I'm clear.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. George, you can unmute and speak.
Okay, good morning, sir. Please, I have installed the live server, but I'm still seeing just the index.html. I've not seen any white sheet, even though I have clicked on open with live server.
The open with live server is going to open on your browser, not on your VS
My
Code.
web browser.
Yes, it's going to open on your web browser. It depends on the browser you're using. It's either Google Chrome or Internet Explorer. So once you click
Let me
on
check.
open with live server, once you check the down part, you see live server. Once you click on it, it's going to open. That's just it. So try to check it.
I have Google Chrome.
So it depends on the browser, your default browser that you're using on your system. Once VS Code can detect the default browser you're using, it automatically opens with that browser.
What if I don't have any? Can I download the browser? What if I don't?
Sure, you can download
I
it. You don't have any browser on your system?
I don't think I do, yes. Let me download Chrome.
And try download Chrome and let us know what's going on.
Let me download Chrome now.
Yeah, so in case anyone has question, you can just raise up your hand and I would respond to the question, pending the time the tutor comes in and continue. So if you have a question in the chat box, the trainer is here already, so it would continue now. Okay. Taufikat Oyedepo, please, can you speak?
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
I want to ask that instead of that live server, can one use Chrome extension instead?
Chrome extension.
To run the code.
Yeah, you can use it, but if you are going to be using Chrome extension, you have to keep refreshing your page most of the time. But with the live server, you don't need to refresh your page. Once you save in your VS Code, it automatically does what? It automatically reloads your page for you. That's why live server is better than any other extension or even using the link URL. That's why it's better. You don't really need to keep refreshing your browser when you make any changes to your code.
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so simple, so you can continue now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akimobola. Well, the last person, Deborah, did you attend to her yet?
Yeah, what did you say?
Deborah Matthew, her hand is up. I want to know if you've attended to her, or maybe she can just ask a question.
Oh, let her.
Deborah Matthew,
so you can ask your question, Deborah Matthew.
Okay, hello, good afternoon. I got stopped where you said we should right click. I don't know how to go about it. I think that's where I'm stopped. Can you hear me?
Okay, can you see my screen now, Deborah?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so right click, on your index.html, after you've done all you're supposed to do, if you have been following us, so you just right click on your index.html and then scroll down, you see open with live server. Why do we need a live server? It's just, for easy refresh, auto refresh of whatever it is we are doing. on our page. If you add anything and you control save, you don't have to like close and then open your web again before you see whatever changes you've made. With the help of Lifesaver, you can easily just save and then you see your changes right here. Okay. And then okay, Armstrong, are you good?
Okay, I'm good.
Deborah? Okay.
Yeah,
Have you
I'm good.
seen
Thank you.
the open Lifesaver? All right, Armstrong, please, let's take the last question so we can move on. We don't really have much time. Armstrong, Julius, please.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning, please go on.
Please, I think I got lost where we were at, where we started that head. I think the body of the text. How you go
Okay.
to is it a meter chassis or something?
Yeah. Okay, did you
Yeah.
have this structure? Did you have this structure already?
Which one?
This structure, this syntaxes and all, this HTML structure, do you have it?
Like I was inputting it manually.
Okay, like I said, you can either write it manually but then VS Code has made it very easy for us. You can just hold Shift and 1 on your keyboard, Shift and 1, delete everything that you have, something like this. You
Yes,
can
I
either
did
write
that.
it manually. Okay, so what was the problem?
It wasn't displaying anything, so I have to start inputting it manually.
Okay, well, okay, continue, just continue like that. All right.
Okay. Then after where you have the head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got lost there. Okay. I think if I use the okay, I'm trying to see. Okay, still not displaying. Oh, it will just display the one on the purple color.
Okay.
And then the one on the green color, it will just still be there. So I don't know if there's any way.
Well, I'm not really seeing your
just-
screen and I don't really get what you're saying, but how do I answer this one? I don't really get what you're saying. I don't.
From the body.
Okay.
From the body where you have number 3, right?
Yeah. Ed, yeah.
So the next one is the number 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, the meta chassis, yes.
Yes. So I don't know how to get that meta chassis.
You just type it. If you can't get it automatically using the help of Shift and 1, you can just type it out. It's a declaration of the type of document you're working with, how you want the document to be displayed, the functions you want it to run. That's just the meta, the title, the meta, viewport, the chassis, and then the HTTP equivalent. So that's basically it. If you can't get it, although we don't really need to cram all of this, all right? But then if you think you can cram it and write it down, fine. But VS Code has made it very easy. Since you said you can't get it from VS Code or snippet, then you can just type it out. And trust me, for now, we can even do without this meta because it doesn't really affect our code. We can go on with just the title, the head, the title, and then the body. Are we cool?
Okay.
Yeah, just type it out. All right.
Okay.
Dozy, please, you have to hold on because we are running out of time. So I will get back to you as soon as I can, please. And you can always drop your message on the group, on the chat. So Mr. Akimobola will always respond to you. Thank you very much. All right. Like I was saying, let me just make this smaller. Whatever it is the changes we are making is going to reflect on our web page as soon as we refresh. For example, I have that and then it reflects here. So if I should add that is my football, right? And then I press save, you see automatically it reflects with the help of the Lifesaver. It reflects on my web page. But then it is not ideal, best practice to have a text written plainly like this in the body. It is not ideal to have text written plain like this in the body. That's where the tags come in, element the tags. That's where we have to use our tags. And then we have different type of tags. Like I said, we have different type of elements. You have the H element, you have the P element, you have the div element, you have image elements from the slides that I presented earlier. So, and then let's say I want to type something like a header. That's what the H element is used for. Something like this, just H1. We have H1 to H6. Like I explained earlier, we have H1 as the opening tag. And then in between the elements, we can have our content and then a closing tag, which is H1. What is H1? H1 is heading. H is heading. That's what they use. Mostly front end or say HTML like to use their tag to represent what the content is about. Uses its element and a tag to represent what the content is all about. If you are writing a major heading, let's say we have H1, H2, H3, H4, H5. The bigger the number, the smaller the size of the heading, but it is all a heading. All right. So when you're working, when you're typing something or you need a header on your page, use H. When you're working or you need a paragraph on your page, you use P. P is for paragraph, while H is for heading. So let's try use H1 to H6 and then see the differences in the sizes. Like I said, H is for header. So let's say header one, and then H2, header 2, and then H3, header 3, H4, header 4, H5, header 5, H6, header 6. So I have this H1, H2, H3, H4. Don't forget that for every opening tag of an H element, you need a closing tag. For every opening tag of each element, you need a closing tag. We have some tags that are self-closing, but then we'll get to those ones later. But for now, let's focus on this H1. H1 requires a closing tag. When you have H1 opening, you have the content inside of it, and then you have a closing tag H1. So this is the way a closing tag looks like. You just add a slash before the tag itself. All right, now, if I save now, then I'll have my header 1, header 2, as you can see on my screen now, header 1, header 2, header 3, header 4. All of these are examples of header. But how do you want it to be displayed? The sizes. This one is more like the main header, then let's say the sub-heading, heading, the sub-heading, the sub-sub-heading, the sub-sub-sub-heading, sub-sub-sub-heading, just like that. That's how it is. So, and if you can see, they are all bold, even if the boldness is actually different, the size, the thickness is different, but then they are all bold because they are all header. So if I should include a P tag, which is the paragraph used in writing text, a simple text, a plain text paragraph, then just type P and say, this is a plain text, right? Then I save, then you see this is a plain text as a paragraph. This is different. It is not bold. This is a simple text, a plain text, while the H1, H2 are all bold with different sizes. So that is the first thing. H1, we are going to use all of this very much. Well, we are going to use it almost in every of our documents, and we are going to use it every time. So H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6, and then the P tag. So let's have this in mind. And also the P tag should also have an opening and a closing tag. A P tag should have an opening and a closing tag. Are we together? Any question, please? Okay. Are we good to go? Please, if you are okay, if you're following up to this level, please kindly raise your hand. Let me be sure that we are together so I can move on. Please, 1 or 2 persons raise your hand, let me know. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so that is this is our first HTML page. So I have my header 1, I have my header 2, I have my header 3, header 4, header 5, header 6. Now it depends on you on how you want to arrange your text. Depends on you on how you want. For now, we are not going to be changing the color or those like that. We are going to focus on getting the text on our screen first on our web page. So now let's say I want to create a page about a cat app. For example, a cat website. So then let's delete everything that we have here. A simple cat web page. So then I can change the title. Like I said, whatever your website is about is going to be what you should have on your title. If you're working on a school website, you can just get the name of the school website and then insert it or put it in between your title as a content. So right now we are going to work on a cat app, for example, just a description of a cat app and all. So we are going to have it inside our title. So let me say cat app. Then I save it. So right now I don't have anything in my body. So now let's go on with first thing, a cat app. That's H1. H1, say my cat. And then I can say, let me use H4, about my cat. There's no standard of how you should arrange this thing. Say, okay, I want to have my P. You can have your P in between before your H4. You can have your just anyhow you choose to arrange it as far as making sense on the web page. Okay, so now I have my cat and then about my cat. So yeah, this is what I have. And I'm trying to tell a story or give a description of my cat. So what do I need? Well, the first thing I need is to tell people about my cat. So there's another tag, another element that we use in HTML for listing and items. If you want to have a list of items, you want to have ordered list of item, like a numbered list of item 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to like write 1 dot, all of those things. You can use a tag, an element that helps you generate a numbering automatically. And then all you have to do is to put in the content that you need inside the list item. Okay, so now I need a list of items, right? Because I want to say something about my cat. So I will need to use a list of items like number 1, the name of my cat is this, number 2, so and all of those. So how do I use this list item? I said we can either use ordered list of this item or unordered list of the item. Ordered lists are the ones that you have 1, 2, 3, while unordered lists are the ones with bullets. On ordered lists, you have bullets to list your items, while ordered lists, you use numbering to list your item. So let's go on with the ordered list first. From the name, ordered list is just OL. So let's say OL. Honestly, you guys need to understand how to use VS Code properly, because when you're using VS Code, it helps you, assist you in creating some of these tags. You only have to, if you need OL or another list, just type OL on your screen and then press enter. So it's going to automatically generate the opening and the closing tag for you. You don't have to like write everything. Although if you know how to do that, it's still very okay. So this is just it. You write your opening tag like this. And then if you want to write on other list is UL on other list, which is about the bullet. This is listing or using a bullet, while the other list will list using a numbering. So you can either use this or this. All right, and you can use OL, just type OL like this and enter. It will generate the tags for you automatically. So now I want to use ordered list, right? I need to list things about my cat. So after declaring that what I want to use, the type of list I want to use is ordered list, there's something you also, for the list itself, which are the items of this ordered list, because, okay, the OL is just declaring that, okay, this listing is going to be ordered, but then we need the items that we want inside the ordered list, all right? So that's when we now come up with LI, which is list items. LI is list items, which is used in listing the content or the numbers or whatever it is you want to have inside this list, all right? So now I'm using LI, and then I can say name, that's my cat name. I can say Bruce Bain, that's my cat name, okay? That's the first one. Then I create another list item, say, okay, color, the color of my cat, you can say brown. Then again, I'll say LI, let me say number of legs. Let me just use number of legs. I'll say 4, something like that. Then I'll save. So as you can see on my screen, I have ordered list of items, okay, about my cards. And then I have name, which is Bruce Bain. I have color, which is brown. Everything is telling us about my cat. And then I have number of legs, which is 4. That's what ordered list is used for, right? Inside the ordered list, you need to have your list items, which is going to be the list of each of the items that we want inside the ordered list. At the same time, we can decide to use unordered. Say I want to use a bullet only to represent my list, okay? So I can say, okay, let's use something else. Location, say, okay, my cat is located in Badagry, Lagos State. Okay, you can see another list item. Let's say location Badagry item. Okay, let's just say nickname. Okay, the nickname for my cat, I can just say devil, something like that, just like this. So then I save. So as you can see here on my screen now, I have on order list item, which is the location and then the nickname. So the first one is the ordered, which comes automatically. I don't need to type 1, 2, or 3. It automatically generates the number itself, okay? And then it arranges it accordingly. That's the help of order list. Instead of you trying to say, okay, H1, H2, H3, and then you have to like arrange it yourself, with the help of order list and order list, it arranges accordingly for you. And then everything is going to look aligned together. So now that's that about the ordered list and the unordered list. Are we together? Are we together? Please, if you have any question, remember that you can always drop your question on the group chat or raise your hand. Okay, Intie, please kindly unmute yourself and ask a question. Thank you. Intie, I'm waiting for you, please. Sammy, please, if you're available, just ask a question, please. Unmute yourself and ask a question. NTSA, you're not saying you've unmuted yourself, but then you're not saying anything. Whoever is available should just say something first.
Hello, I want to ask.
Okay.
Before the list, this one from the
I'm not.
How did you save? How did you save the? How did you save the one?
I didn't get that, please.
Like you saved the one before it appeared in the web page.
Yeah, I use Well, if you're using Mac, you use Command S, Command S. If you're using Windows, Control S to save. Control S to save.
Okay, thank you.
Is that okay?
Yes, yes, thank you.
All right. NTSA, please go on. Sammy, you can mute yourself, okay? Okay, I'm going to mute yourself. I'm going to help you mute you because you don't want to mute yourself.
Good morning. About the saving aspect, I want to say that there is auto save on VS Code that one don't need to save by themselves, that it will save directly automatically. I don't know about Mac, but it's on Windows on VS Code.
Okay. Good day, everyone. So actually, you can do autosave. Autosave works on every so that can be an option.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Gochis. I believe you are attending to your questions. I'll let you finish with that.
Okay, so I don't know if that answered the whole savings this one. You can do Control S. Windows laptop, you can use Command S to save. I think that go down, you'll see auto save there. When you select it, it automatically saves. For now, it might not really be an issue. Personally, I don't do auto save, but that's because I'm running like heavy stuff to work. I don't know if that answers the saving issue. Okay. Okay. So okay, can you guys not hear me? If you can hear me, please just indicate by raising your hand. Okay, okay, thank you. So I see that you guys are still asking about the autosave. If you click on file, on the simple, so can you share your screen? Sorry. Okay, just help me demonstrate. I think, yeah, it's showing up now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed, can you expand, open it completely so that they can see how to just do the auto save?
Okay, the autosave, right?
Yeah.
There's a file.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
so
see autosave.
you see save and then autosave. Yeah. The interface is different for Mac, but then it's still the same thing. Just open the file and then autosave. I got you. Are we good?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if other people, Akin's, Just go on. I can't pronounce your name. So I will just go with Adefemi. Ask your question. Adefemi, can you hear us? Ask your question.
Hello?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I don't have a question. I'm trying to indicate I'm with you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay. So I got this. May I continue?
Yeah, go on, please.
Thank you very much. All right. Yeah. Now we are trying to write a web page, build a web page about my cat. So a very simple web page. So the first thing we did was to change the title. Please, if you're raising your hand, kindly hold on for now. And then don't forget, you can always drop your question on the group chat. So people are there to attend to you. Thank you. So we changed our title, the title of our document here, which is it inside the head. Like I said, this is the description of everything about your website. So the title explains or shows the name of our website, the cat app. So we decided to change that. And then inside the body, where we should have our contents, inside the body element, where we should have our contents, we have the H1 as the header, right? This tells us that, okay, we are writing something about my cat, and then the content is my cat. Then we use H4 because we don't want to have the subtitle to be the same size as the title, right? We can either style, there are ways in which you can style your H4 to be very big as your H1, but best practices says you follow the syntax the way it is, all right, the tags, H1, H4, H5, H6, and all. The smaller, the higher the number attached to the H, the smaller the size of the content. And then we have the OL because we need a list of items to tell us about our cat, all right? Then we have the list item OL, which is the ordered list. And inside of it, we have the list item, name, the Brisbane, color brown. And then under it, you have on ordered list. When I already said that on ordered list will always give us a bullet as a list, while the ordered list will give us a numbering as a list. So that's the difference between the ordered list and ordered list. All right, so in the typography, formatting our page, our text and all, we have some other tags that we can use. Before we do that, let's have a text. That's a plain text using the P. Okay. Before raising their hands. All right, I'd like to ask this question before I go on. I want to have a description, like a subtitle first to tell me about, let me just say, history of my cat. I want to have a subtitle on my page. I want to have history of my tag, or history of my cat on my page. And on that, I want to have the history of my tag, like a description. My cat, what will I use? Which tag, which element will I use? And then for description of the cat, which tag, which element will I use? So much. Just let me see your answers on the chat. Let me see your answers on the chats. Okay, I'm not seeing any answer. I want to have, like I said, I want to have a subtitle. You guys should remember that we already have a subtitle. Okay, thank you. Remember, you said H4 for the heading and then P for the brief description. Okay. All right. So which other one can we use for the sub and then for the description? If it's still the same thing, just let me see more answers. I'm not sure if remember is correct. So let's see one other answer from any other person. Just one other answer. I need to write. Okay. David, are you trying to show yourself now? Trying to show yourself. Divs. I said I want to have under the nickname, under my OL, right? Under my UL, sorry, I want to have another subheading for history of my cat. And then under the history of my cat, I want to have a text. Just I want to say something about my cat, like a paragraph of my tax of my cat. So what am I going to use? The tag am I going to use? Someone said H4 and someone said break subheading H3 list tag for description. Okay. Okay, we can use heading tags like H2 or H3, then P for the brief. All right, okay. Well, everything is accepted, but please let's not go into deviate. I know most of us have gone a little bit further than this, yeah, but let's not jump. I'm going to jump. Let's just take it one after the other, all right? Because some of us, we don't really know. Some of us don't even know H yet. So just because you know deep doesn't mean you should drag us forward, okay? So let's take it one after the other. All right. So to do that, I will use H because it is good to have a concise code, right? Make sure you have a uniform code, all right? Because I already use H4 for my subtitle about my cat, so it is best to use H4 also for the next thing that I want to use as subtitle. So I'll just use H4, and then I'll have history of my cat. So I'll save it, then I'll have that. Then under it, I want to use a P. That's a paragraph tag. So I have a lot. You can just, this is used for sentence, for paragraphs, or sentence. That's what you use P for. So let's say my cat is a very cute cat. Okay. As a pinky, no, a brownish gold. Don't mind my color combination. A brownish gold eye color. Brownish gold eye color. Okay. Okay. So I have a text. All right. So I want you to notice something. Okay. This P, like, well, I don't want to have it this long. It's too long. Like, it's just keep writing and writing and writing. And trust me, if I have other things to write, this thing is going to like write. It's going to like display to the last edge of this place before dropping. Okay, but then I don't want it. I want to break it. I don't want it to be this long. I want to break it like maybe my cat is a very good cat, has a brownish gold eye color and has a very nice sound, and I want to break it somewhere. So how do I do that? Is to include a break BR tag. Someone has mentioned it earlier. So we use BR, a break tag, to break a text. For example, you have a sentence that is too long. You don't want it to be too long. Okay, you want it to break to the next line. So we use the BR tag to do that. Okay, so let me use it here. BR. So, okay, so as you can see now, including the BR where you want it to break, you're just going to automatically break it to the next line. Okay, and then you can see it here as it is being displayed. And if you want more lines, BR can actually, well, it's not best practice, but for now, let's just explain how BR works. You can have multiple BR if you want more lines in between. So I can say I want another BR. I can just copy this copy and then paste, then paste. So okay, so it's just like breaking, giving me an additional line in between my text. So that's how BR works. Okay, and I want you guys to understand something, that HTML does not really take spaces into consideration. Okay, it doesn't take space into consideration. If, for example, I have let's see, how can I do that? Okay, how can I do that? Let me see. P. Okay. Now to give the example. All right, so let's just continue with this first P paragraph. So yeah, we can use the break to break whatever it is we are typing to the next line. And at the same time, there are other tags and elements that we can use to format, to style our text. We have the bold, we have the italic, okay, and then we have the underline. For example, I want to bold my cat, this particular cat. I can just wrap the cat in a bold tag, in a B tag. They use B for bold, okay? So I can just wrap my cat in a B tag, then I copy the cat, just paste it inside the cat. So now the cat is going to be bold. As you can see it here, that's what the B is used for. I can use it to just make just a particular text bold, and I can decide to cut this one out. I want more than the cat to be bold. Let me bring it down here. Then I'll have cat is a very cute cat, bold. Okay. And at the same time, I can italic. Say I want to give, you can touch my cat, italic. All right. Use I just for italic. I for italic. I is another tag used in HTML for italic. You can touch my cat and cut it out, and then paste it, and then you can touch my cat. Okay, so as you can see, you can touch my cat is now italic. It's as simple as that. So we use the B to bold a text, while the I to italic. There are other ways you can do this when you get to CSS with styling, the normal styling, okay? But then before we get to that, there's some immediate styling you can use. That's more like typography when you're working with text in HTML. So then also we can use U to underline a text. We can use U to underline a text. For example, let me underline this. I can just create, it's very easy, just create your U tag, then you copy your because, then paste it inside the U tag, and then you save. So you have because underline. So it's as easy as that. You have the bold, cat is very cute, bold. This is inside the B tag. Then we have the italic, you can touch my cat, inside the I tag, and then we have the because underline inside the U tag. So those are some of the typography. We have a lot of typography. We cannot touch it. We have quotes, we have text area, we have plenty of it, but we cannot touch everything today, all right, because we are running out of time. We are going to, I'll give a link. If most of us know about the B3 school, to just go through the B3 school. That's a website where you can see some of the tags and then read through it yourself. And I'm very sure by the time we come for the next class, those things will be very familiar with some of the tags. All right. So for now, we are going to okay. Yeah, we're going to stop here for now. All right. So I will like us to do some tests. Please, I want someone to just write. Let me cover this first. Write a tag that says just a list item on the chart. Anybody or everybody, let's just do that. A list item, just two things inside the list item. You can choose to make it ordered or not ordered. Just two lists of items of two things in your school. Just two lists of items of two things in your school. Let me see how you're going to write it in the chat. Just two things of items in your school. It could be auditorium, it could be the stadium, it could be the anything, just anything. A list of items, two list of items in the chat. Ordered list, Mario, why do ordered list and unordered list? Ordered list and unordered list, not ordered. Yeah, okay. Ordered list and unordered list. Okay. OL. All right, that's ordered list. Thank you. At least you're following, and then okay. Okay. All right, that's interesting. But I believe we all understand the aspect of tags, elements, how tags and elements works. That's just the basic of I can install live server. That's the basic of everything. Thank you very much, Tony. I like the answer. So you have physics lab and then you have the chemistry lab. Excellent. Thank you very much. Suleiman Sekina. Yes, you have your okay. I think you have it wrongly. You have it wrongly, Suleiman Sekina. You have it wrongly. You have the list item before the declaration of the type of item you need. Yeah. So next time you should have your UL or your OL and then the list item inside of it. Just the way Abigail Jegede has it here, okay? Abigail Jegede, I like that. Stadium and all. Abigail, you are from Lautech. I know. Because of the stadium and all. Other list table, thank you very much, Noel. Thank you very much, Taufika Yedepo. Thank you. I'm happy that you guys are really following. Okay. All right. So this is what we are going to do. Let me just go through again a brief of what you've been doing since morning. We introduced ourselves to front-end development, and then we said we have web development, which has to do with website building, creation, and management. Okay, and then web development is divided into two, which is the front end and then the back end. The front end is used to build the interface, develop the interface after the designers have designed whatever it is they want to design, all of those, their boxes and sketches. Then the front-end designer, a front-end developer is responsibility is to develop this design, all right, develop the UI, okay, make it look like a website, right? And then the functions, the interaction also is done by the front end, but then the function, the back end, the server side is done by the back end, sorry. The interactions is done by the front end. You know, when you click on a list item and then it drops it down, a list of items like a drop down, you over on an item and then it changes color, sorry. While the backend development is about the server side of the website, the database, the authentication, when it comes to logging in, signing up, registration, adding items to the list and all of that, dealing with the backend, the server side of our website. That's more like the core of the website, the function of the website. Okay, although some websites doesn't really use backend. Some of the static website, I would say, they have static website, just the front end only. Backend, no database and all of those. Why some definitely will have to use backend authentication and all. Some persons their
Please let's hold on. He'll soon join back. I think he has network issue. But Okay.
I'm very sorry, my network is really messed up. So, okay, I can't even remember. I've said a lot of things, but then I was just trying to explain the relationship between the front end and the back end, where it comes in, and that's it. So, and then front end, we focus on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and then the libraries, which has to do with the React, the Vue, and then the Angular. All of these libraries helps us to achieve an easy and smooth, concise, scalable front-end development, scalable website. So that's the reason of the React, Angular, and the Vue. Okay, so then front end, what we are focused on is the UI, development of the UI and the UX of a particular website, which has to do with the HTML, the skeletal structure of the website, the CSS, which has to do with the styling, like my mentor last year would say, HTML is more like a skeleton, like a body, using a person as an example. So a body without a flesh is HTML. That's the skeleton, the bones. The unit of the bones is HTML. Okay, but then when flesh is being attached to the skeleton, all right, that's when it is called a styling. That's when we apply CSS, right? The skeletal structure is HTML, okay? And then when you start putting the fleshes, the eye, and all of those here, and all of those, making it look nice, fine, that's the styling, the CSS. And then we get to JavaScript when we started making the body work. That's the function of JavaScript. We need this body to work. We need this body to be able to raise its hand and then talk and then see and some of those things. The function of the body is the JavaScript, okay? The styling, make the body look nice. How do you want this body to have a big chest? Do you want this body to be black in complexion? Do you want this body to be fair? Do you want this person to be a Nigerian, a black Nigerian, yellow Nigerian, all of these things? So that's styling. You can choose to give this person hair, a very long hair. You can choose to give this body a short hair. Everything is about styling. All of those things does not really mean that the body is working yet. It's just styling, okay? While when you need it to walk, to talk, to interact, to do something, that's when the JavaScript comes in. So that's the HTML, the skeletal. And trust me, when a skeleton will actually determines how our body is going to look like, because a tall skeletal structure means this person is going to be tall. Okay, so that's why HTML is very important. You don't just go on with styling without having a structure. No, it doesn't. It's not done that way. You have to lay your structure. This is how I want my structure to look like. This thing is applied to almost everything in the life. Even for your furniture, you want to have a shelf. You actually design the shelf. That's the first thing, the product design. Then you build the shelf using your normal plywood and all of those things. You build the structure of the shelf, and then the CSS is adding the color, adding the color to the shelf and all of those things. And then when it comes to JavaScript, is some shelf, you need some shelf to be able to, you want it flexible. You want to be able to like arrange it properly, like fix it and all of those things. Those are the JavaScript, the functions of the shelf, carry it from one place to another and all of those things. So that's just the idea of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we are going to focus on HTML for now, right? And that's what we have done today. And also the the editor we are going to be using is VS Code. It's VS Code, Visual Studio Code. That's, I would say, the most popular library, text editor. Okay, most front-end developer use Visual Studio Code. All right, so I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code, and the installation and download is very easy. Go to your website, any browser that you have. Go to any browser, search for VS Code, download for your own system. If you're using Mac, download mac.dmg. If you're using Linux, download Ubuntu. Whichever extension they use in Linux, and if you're using a Mac, a Windows, download .exe. After the download process is successful, click on it to install, accept all the prompt or pop-up that you see, and then installation is going to go on by itself successfully. After that, you have to start a project in a folder. you have to start a project in a folder. You can do that in two ways. You can either open your VS Code and try to open a project from the VS Code. From there, create a folder. If you know how to do that, create a folder in your folder finder, and then open it in your VS Code. Or before you do that, go to your desktop. If you're using a window, go to your desktop, create a folder on your desktop, give it a name, any name of your choice, and then right click on the folder and open it with VS Code. So you can do it that way also. Or after creating the folder, come back to VS Code, click on open, and then find a way, navigate yourself to that particular folder you created, and then open it. And for us to have a very good structure with that, it is best to create a folder for everything you want to be doing. Okay, you can just say KodeCamp 3.0 frontend. That's the folder for everything you're going to be doing in KodeCamp 3.0 code. And then inside that folder, you can now have first class as another folder, okay? And then you can now open that first class in your VS Code just to have a very a good structure of your folder structure, you understand? So you don't get confused. Make sure you have a folder where you keep everything you're working on inside, more like KodeCamp 3.0, okay? And then inside that folder, you have different folder of different classes that you have: class 1, class 2, class 3, class 4, and like that. So, and after we have the VS Code open, we have the file explorer. This is to open and close our file explorer. This is our file explorer, this place where we have index.html. So you click on this place to open and close, open it, search, source control, the run and debug. All of this is like an advanced way. So then the extension, here we have different extension markets, like a market where you install something. Most of this thing here is free. Most of it is free. So you use Lifesaver, you use config, you use everything that you have that you need. But then we are going to let us know as we are moving forward the extensions we are going to be using to make our development very, very easy. You understand? Okay. And then after that, we install Lifesaver. Lifesaver is used to display or to open or to reload our whatever we are doing on our web page on a browser. It enables fast refresh. You only have to like open it, right click on your web on your page, index.html page, and then open with Lifesaver. After that, whatever you do on your body or your page, inside your title, inside your body, your H1, your H2, you only have to Control X, and then it's going to be displayed on your web browser, as simple as that. There are other ways to open these. There are other ways to open the web browser without the Lifesaver, but I will always advise us to use the Lifesaver to open our web page. If you don't want to use your Lifesaver, you can always go to your folder. After creating your index.html, it's going to be located in the folder you opened on your desktop. You can always go there, right click on that particular index.html, and then open with browser. You can see open Chrome. So if you open with Chrome, you're going to see what you have there, just the same thing that you have here. You're going to see there. Am I clear enough? My network is showing unstable. Okay, so and then we move to doc type to have a structure of our web, of our index, right? Our project structure. We use shift and 1. Shift and 1 will give us the structure of our template, just like a template of how our website is going to look, what we are going to work with. Okay, a template of what we are going to work with. That will give us the meta chassis, HTTP, the name, the viewport, the content, the doc type easily. We don't have to like cram everything to write it down. If you know it, it's very good, right? It's very, very good for you to even know it, okay? So that in the situation where you don't have a text editor that will give you this automatically, you can type it out yourself and then you understand what you're typing. And how do you know it? It's very simple. The first thing you need to do is to declare the document type you're working with. Declare. And this is a declaration. Is the declaration icon or symbol. Document type is HTML. Document type is CSS. Document type is JavaScript, any of that. So document type here is HTML. And then after that, we have the HTML itself. After declaring that, okay, I'm working with HTML, and then we have the HTML itself here. So as you can see, the opening HTML and the closing HTML. So everything is inside HTML because I already declared that my document type is HTML. Then I specify the language. If you remember, I said some elements will have attributes, okay, and a value. So here, this HTML has language as an attribute, and then this EN, which is English, as a value. This is just an additional information to this HTML. I can do without it. It's not like this thing will give me a wrong an error or anything, but it is good to declare that, okay, this is the language I'm working with. You can choose to make this FR, France, French, or whatever, but we are in Nigeria, so we are using English. All right, then inside the HTML, we have the head, which is specifying the type, the name, our about our website, our web page. Okay, so we have meta, and then the card, the title, which is the card. The meta, the chassis is UTF-8. It's just it's more like a declaration, just telling the web browser that this type of document is a chassis UTF-8. Then the meta equivalence is how are you going to be compatible, the browsers that you're supposed to be compatible with. That's the second one. The third one is the viewport, the sizes, the scale, and the how I want this thing to be displayed on the browser. So that's the third one, the viewport. While the fourth one, the title, is the title of your document, title of your web. All right, cat app, that's what we worked on today. And then after that, we move to the body. That's the content, everything we have in the body is going to be showing on our web page. All right, so then we have the H1, which is heading. H1, H2, H3 to H6. That's the heading. And like I said, the smaller, the higher the number attached to the H, the smaller the size of it. Okay. And then we have the OL, which is the ordered list, which will give us the numbering of a list item. Inside the ordered list, we can have our list item as many as possible. We can have 100 list items, as many as possible, however you want to have it. Okay. Although inside list item, you can also have other list again inside, but that one will be for later, okay? And then we have on other list, which is the UL, and then which that one will give us a bullet list item, okay? So also we can have our list item as many as possible inside the other list. So an essay, we have a paragraph, which is a sentence. It's giving us a paragraph, a sentence, okay? So we can format it however you want to do it. So we use B, bold, to bold a particular text, B, the opening B and the closing B, that's the bold. We use BR. BR does not, if you notice, BR is a self-closing tag. BR does not have a closing tag, a second closing tag. It's a self-closing tag. We're going to talk next week. We're going to talk about tags that are self-closing and tags that are not self-closing next week by the grace of God. So BR break is a self-closing tag, okay? Why italic has an opening and a closing, which is used for italic I, and then the U underline has opening and closing, which is used to underline a text. So that is where we're going to start for today. Thank you very much. And I would like us to do something. I want us to create a simple web page about our mentor, just a very simple, by mentor, I mean, you can just say something about a footballer, someone that you're looking up to, maybe Messi, Ronaldo, or anybody. Just do it on your own, use it to practice, okay? Just tell me about the person, the moments of the person, like some of the notable moments of the person is what doing, some records, some of his awards, some winnings, some sponsors, and all of this. Make sure you use everything we are using here. Everything we used here today. Use the H1, the H. You can use H1 to H6 if you like. You can have as much as you want your content to be. Make sure you use the OL. Make sure you use the LI, the UL, and then the paragraph and all of its attributes that we have inside. All of its tag, the B, the break, the I, and then the U. Okay, so we are going to meet again on Thursday, same time, same venue. I will also forward the link when it's time for us to have the training next week. Thank you very much. So before I end this, please, I'd like to take questions. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you have suggestions, okay? If you have some suggestions, I'll actually like to take that. And feel free to drop, if you can't talk, feel free to drop your questions on the chat. Mr. Kimbobola and Ogochuk's raised. Izzy Matthew, please kindly say something. Izzy Matthew, please unmute yourself and ask a question. Okay, Sammy, please go on, unmute yourself and ask a question. Sammy.
Oh, sorry, I was not unmuted.
Okay, no problem.
You were saying you were going to recommend us to, I think, W3 school or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What I said is I won't be able to take you through, I won't be able to explain all of the tags. We have millions of tags that you can use when using your HTML, okay? You have millions of tags. So we have the codes. So for you to be more familiar with all of these things, you can always visit w3schools.com. Okay, just visit w3schools.com and open the HTML, and then you see the list of tags that you have and how it is being used. Understand? So next week we are going to talk more on tags. We are going to use a lot of tags. And while we introduce us to these basic tags, is because so that we can understand how tags are being used, the opening and the closing. Moving forward, when a tag is needed, when a particular tag is needed, we are going to use it and then explain what is used for and how it is used. Okay. But then before then, you can help yourself by visiting w3schools.com HTML page to see the tags, and it's going to help you a lot moving forward. Thank you very much. Sammy, please go on. Sammy, if you're not available, David, please. We are out of time already. We're supposed to close by 12. So and it's 12:11. So please, David, Dozie, and Sammy. All right. Okay, since they are not available for now, I will like Mr. Akimobol, I don't know if he has anything to say to the trainees.
Yeah, thank you very much, Simple Soul. I will just say that just go back
to say one or two words today.
And check up what they're doing, because you can't know it all in one class. So just try go back and review one or two. And we're always available on the Discord channel. Just drop a question and we'll always answer. Thank you.
Okay, so we also have the KodeCamp host. Do you have something to say to us before we round up today? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Simple Soul. I think I have a few things, right? But I think I would rather just say that later.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Also, like I said, like Akimbobola said, we can always ask questions on the group chat and Discord channel. Feel free to drop your concerns. If you're not clear about anything, I want you guys to just try it yourself. If you don't have to use my cat. Just use something else. Use my dog. Use my mentor. Use anything. You understand? But make sure you practice using all of the tags that we explained today. And if you can even go beyond this, check yourself, make research to know more about tags and which other tags you can use in your HTML. Okay, so I really appreciate that. And if you can, I'm gonna have just if you need to show me what you've done, you can always reach out to me on the channel to show me what you've done and your codes and how you're doing it. So I appreciate some of that. It's going to help you a lot. You don't have to just wait to the next class before you do any other thing, because front-end development is about like consistency. You have to do it, keep doing it, and every time you understand, you're going to get everything you need to know. Okay, so sorry, I would like to ask Mr. Ogochuk if he has anything to say to the trainers too, and then we'll call it a day today.
Okay. Well, I think it has been an insightful session. So just to add, I think I've seen Jasmine ask the question. So the aim of the task that you're given is so that you can practice. Like Simple Soul said, you just need to do it, keep doing it, keep practicing. Likely, I don't know if you ask for submission, but at least it's something that it is a take home for now. Maybe he could ask you to submit it later on or something, but just so that you know if you're on the same page, if you're following up, you just need to practice it, and then probably maybe message him or something, or drop it on the channel, so that, yeah, I don't know, dropping it on the channel, I don't think that will work. That's not, yeah, it's not a this thing. So probably, I think something that you guys might learn about is how to use CodePen. I think that will kind of help you to share your code so that other people can see what you've done so far. So maybe you can research about CodePen, how to use CodePen. I don't know if it will be very technical, but that's a better way of like sharing your code so that someone sees what you're doing instead of just maybe copying and pasting your code or something, so someone can see the output. Then aside that, I think just practice. Front-end development is it comes with its own challenges anyway, but yeah, you're starting out, so start out well, learn it, and when you have challenges, reach out to anybody, myself, him, and others. So we're always there to attend to your questions and anything. So nice to have you guys here. So I think that's all I have. I don't know, somebody had a question to ask. I don't know if that has been attended to. So do you still want to ask the question? Okay. In the absence of that, I think we can end the class. So Simple Soul. So, Sammy, do you have a Sammy, do you want to ask the question, or I don't know? What does yes mean? Okay. I don't. You could raise up your hand if you want, if you still want to ask, so that I just enable. Suddenly.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I want to ask question based on the time, because I'm seeing that the time is 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Is it high it to continue for the
What about it?
Okay, what about for those who are not able to catch up?
Yes. If it well, okay. So let me just attend to that. The timetable was actually released, so all of us. So that is, if you check the timetable, that is how it's going to run till probably the end of this cohort, except otherwise stated. So that's what we'll be following. So if you're not able to catch up for some reason, we still have it on YouTube. You can still go there and watch, and then if you have questions, you can come back and ask us. Okay. So I believe that, yeah, that works. Yeah. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Rex. Yeah.
Hello, so good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Okay, I would like you to speak again on the live server. I think I skipped that part. I did not really get in. I actually installed it on my PC. I was trying to use it to my VS Code, but I don't really know how to use the live server. I actually have to go to the website I'm using, any website I'm using to load the page to actually refresh it each time I write a code.
Okay. Okay. I don't know. It's just that there's another class that is supposed to happen. So I think I'll attend to you better on the Discord channel. If I
All
just
right,
want to
sir.
create. Okay. Sammy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, let me allow you. Okay. Go on, Sammy.
Okay, finally. I want to ask if we can share the documents we presented earlier. So we have the definition of all these things, web development, and the concept of all these. If you can share with us, so we can go through on our own. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, you actually drop that for you guys. Yeah, he'll drop it for you guys. Is that clear? Yeah, can you hear me? Sammy, that will be dropped for you guys. Yeah, Dozier, can you speak?
Okay, good morning.
Yeah,
Hey,
morning.
I want to ask about the live server. Like after installing it, is there anything that we're going to do again?
You just use it.
Okay, just
I
use the
yeah. I think I'll talk about it on the Discord channel. So just keep your eyes on the Discord channel.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, so I think with that we'll just round up. So have a great day, guys.
All right, guys, I'll meet again. We will always meet on the Discord channel, but then we meet like this again next Thursday, this coming Thursday, same time. And if you did not catch up with what we've been doing, like maybe you didn't start with us, you can always go to the YouTube channel and then search for KodeCamp 3.0, and you can always go through and watch the video again. If you have any question, like Mr. Gochik said, feel free to drop the question on the Discord channel, and we'll always be there to attend to you. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day.